Me and dummies have a lot in common. I'm also made of wood whenever someone puts their hand up my ass. Okay, sorry. It's a joke. It's not even true. It's stolen valor. I mean, I could probably manage a cool 6 to 7 inches, but something the shape and size of a whole human fist, that's what the mouth is for. You know what? Let's start over. I apologize. I need help. Please. I'm sick. Welcome back to another episode of the Plot Twist Archives, where we categorize the good, the bad, and the bizarre of plot twist cinema. For the unaware, plot twist cinema is when a film's main point for existence is its eventual plot twist. Lowercase plot, capital twist. This is distinctly different from a film that simply has plot twists. This is when the film is the plot twist. Now, these films usually aren't the best, but I think there's something charming about a film that goes all in on trying to yank the rug out from under your feet, leaving you ass up on the floor for the ventriloquist. Dead Silence is a film directed by James Wan, released in 2007, his first film after the breakout success of the career-defining Saw. While this is the first movie from James Wan in these archives, I promise you it will not be the last. Much like me on a Saturday night, this man has a tendency to make interesting yet questionable decisions. Now, I could talk about how the movie occasionally has good cinematography, but then fucks it up with early aughts choppy cuts in slow-mo, or how bad CGI sucks the juice right out of the end, much like me on a Saturday night making interesting yet questionable decisions. I could talk about the tonal inconsistency featuring a mourning husband and a dying town juxtaposed with Donnie Wahlberg's hammed-up cartoon schmuck of a detective who publicly subjects strangers to his shaving at every opportunity he gets. I don't know why, as an alpha male act of establishing dominance, maybe? I mean, he even dies, his shaver rattling around on the ground. Haha, comedy question mark? Honestly, I could talk about a lot of things, but this isn't a review of the movie. This is a review of the plot twist, and this plot twist is so fucking bizarre. Just you wait. Now, before we hop in, please note, I am not gurgitating the plot at you. I'm recounting a bizarre plot twist and how it interacts with the plot. Not that I'm above gurgitating. I will gurge if I need to, and you'll love it. I'll make you love it. Here we go. Mary Shaw is a ventriloquist. One night at a show back in the probably early 1900s, Mary Shaw is doing an act with her dummy Billy in front of a packed theater. A kid from the audience heckles her. He's all,
"Hey man, that dummy isn't talking for real. I can see your lips moving. I want my money back."
thus proving that even in the 1900s, Redditors were alive and well. They just had yet to find their community.
How are you feeling?
My central nervous system, that's how I'm feeling.
The heckler, by the way, is the main character Jamie's ancestor. This is a reveal. This is plot twist number 1. Not the big plot twist, though. That comes later. This irrevocably ties Jamie, the main character, to Mary Shaw, thus instigating the entire story. Mary Shaw gets very angry at the heckler. Her dummy starts throwing a fit. He's all, "How dare you? I'm a real boy. You're a real pig fucker. I'm real. You're fake. You're a faker. Get him for me, Ma. Get him for me. You wait until I get my hammer. It's my favorite hammer." Now, after the show, the heckler goes missing. Great uncle, heir to the family fortune, foul play suspected. They blamed Mary Shaw. They hunted her down. They forced her to scream. They cut out her tongue. They took her life. And this is the part where you, as an audience member, you might be all like, how awful. They murdered her for a crime she didn't commit. Except this psycho did commit the crime. She kidnapped and murdered that little dweeb, which maybe she did the world a favor. Who knows? Not me. But regardless of your political stance on that issue, at the end of the day, she kidnapped and mutilated a what? A child. She cut him all up and turned him into her puppet child. Her fate isn't a tragedy. Her fate is a justice. An illegal justice, but a justice none the fewer. You can measure justice, but if I told you how to measure ideas, your brain would explode, and I'm not cleaning that up. If you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. Now get this. Mary Shaw's final request was to be buried with her dolls and to become a doll herself. And she was obliged? The 1940s were a different time. So, murdered by townsfolk, reformed as a doll, she did the whole ghost for revenge type gig, picking off the bloodlines of those responsible for her death with the help of her quote-unquote children. With her whole shtick being, she dulls the sound around you, and if she gets you to scream, she takes your tongue and your life. It's important to mention, none of her aforementioned quote-unquote children were real, independent beings growing into adults, failing and succeeding at life. This is plot twist number 2. This isn't the big one, it's just the most disappointing. Billy the dummy wasn't running around doing creepy shit, violently murdering strangers in the dark of the night with his creepy little dummy hands. No, all of her dolls and dummies were just vessels for her own malevolent essence, tethering her and her dark magic to this world. This is probably the biggest part of why I hated this movie. I wanted a movie about an evil dummy, but I got a plot twist instead. All that being said, enter the main character, Jamie. This is where the movie starts. Jamie finds a package left in front of his apartment door. It's Billy the dummy. Yay! The dummy, aka Mary Shaw, kills Jamie's wife because his wife is pregnant with his child, which means the baby would have been part of the bloodlines that Mary Shaw is attempting to end, those responsible for her untimely death. Though some might argue that she's the one responsible for her untimely death, having, murdered a child or whatever. Let's not get political about it. This traumatizing event leads Jamie on a journey back to his hometown where he uncovers all of the aforementioned information about Mary Shaw, including Mary Shaw's personal notebook, which shows peculiar plans for creating the perfect doll, as well as some very bizarre and violent looking contraptions. This imagery is also shown during the intro credits. Now, when Jamie gets to his hometown, we see the entire place has fallen into disrepair. Jamie rolls up to his father's mansion. Yes, his mansion. He's the richest man in town. Jamie is the heir to the family fortune, just like the dead little heckler boy. When Jamie knocks at the front door, it's answered not by his father, but by an attractive young blonde woman. She's his new stepmother. His father just had a stroke. How awful. Stepmommy brings him up to the room to meet his father, his rich father. Tensions are high. Now, I hate myself for not noticing the first time, but in my defense, this is not the movie I was sold. You know what? Just watch. Just briefly watch their first interaction.
I can hear you. Let me help you. My son.
Then the reveal, the plot twist, lowercase plot, capital twist. If it wasn't obvious from that scene, his dad, propped up in the chair with an oxygen tank in all of these scenes, he's dead. The whole time, he's fucking dead. His back has been hollowed out and stuffed like a meaty little bell pepper with the aforementioned contraptions that were in Mary Shaw's notebook, turning him into a puppet controlled by the stepmother.
That 500 grams of makeup applied by the mortuary cosmetologist really makes your face look less terrifying. That is, of course, sarcasm.
She was physically manipulating his actions the whole film, throwing her voice, even convincing Jamie that he was talking to someone on the phone who wasn't on the phone. The stepmother was the perfect doll mentioned in Mary Shaw's notebook. Not a real boy Pinocchio, but another vessel for Mary Shaw's essence. With the big reveal of his dead puppet-back father, Mary Shaw finally gets Jamie to scream and takes his tongue. Hence the unspeakable part of the plot twist. It all raises so many questions. So, what is this movie trying to tell me on a socio-philosophical level? That if you're old and rich, never trust someone who's young, they'll just try to kill you, control you, and take all your money? Don't trust your young, attractive step-parents, they'll never love you like a quote-unquote real child? Real child being one that they made from wood. Okay, I guess I'm partially joking, but what about the lore or the plot? Was the perfect doll made before Mary Shaw died? What are the conditions for a doll? Did the perfect doll start out as an actual person? Why couldn't she just make his dad into a doll that she could control without her stepmother perfect doll proxy body? Is the exclusionary condition that the doll needed to have been made before Mary Shaw died? I mean, if you kill the perfect doll, will Mary Shaw's reign of terror finally end now that all the other dolls are dead? Can she make more dolls, thus further grounding her essence in the material world? Why does the perfect doll need to throw her voice when Mary Shaw is already able to project her voice across county lines? Does she just need a doll, any doll, to make it happen? Can she make Billy move? Or is Billy's movement all just hallucinations? Jamie is 30-something. Why did Mary Shaw wait so long for revenge? Why did she go after Jamie now? Also, why kill the descendants of the mortician if he honored her super creepy and weird wishes? The alternate ending kind of explains some of this, but it also just adds even more questions that none of us are ever going to get answers to, so I'm moving on with our lives. You're welcome. The story doesn't serve the plot twist. The plot twist doesn't serve the story. The plot twist effectively changes nothing. Jamie barely interacts with his father anyway. He also hates his father with no attempt at resolution on that front. His stepmother brother is also barely in the film, probably clocking in a full 3 to 6 minutes of screen time. It was a silly little LOL, but like an internalized LOL, an LIQ. It was a laugh and quiet. Okay, wait, you wanna know how we fix this? Turn down the lights, close your eyes, no visuals, only your imagination, 10-hour black screen for sleep. Here we go. Creepypasta voice activate. Billy is a demonic entity, part of a bargain Mary Shaw made to achieve the resounding success of a failing act. Mary Shaw is just a casualty. When she stares at the heckler, tears fall from her eyes. Tears that don't match her expression, because Billy is the one controlling her. Jamie didn't descend from the heckler. Jamie descended directly from Mary Shaw. This is how his family amassed their fortune. Billy turns Jamie's wife into a puppet as punishment for leaving his home, breaking Mary Shaw's generational bargain to serve. His wife disappears, leaving a trail of bloody clues that lead Jamie back to the small town where he was born. His father, who he cares about in this version, has also been turned into a puppet, as well as everyone else in his childhood home. Billy the Wooden Demon Boy is always there. Always. In the final scene, Jamie wakes up in a dimly lit but endlessly wide basement, a crowd of familiar, smiling faces in all directions. He's bent over a table, locked in shackles. He's afraid. There's blood everywhere, the sounds of squelching, clattering metal. He turns his head to see Billy the dummy. The big reveal. The wooden demon laughs. Laughter all around in a rhythmic storm of noise, deafening. Everyone is just part of the act. Jamie screams, but he can't move. He's in horrible pain. Against his will, he smiles painfully wide, cheeks cracking, bones snapping. He's laughing too. A single tear rolls down his cheek, mirroring the image of his great-grandmother Mary Shaw, a woman who made a deal. A very bad deal. That being said, thank you so much for watching. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, leave a comment. How do dummies make you feel? Only answer in emojis. Shoot high and expect to miss. Never undercome, only overcome. Here's a kiss.
Yes. Oh yeah, you're gonna love it. Do it. Oh, it's gonna be so good. Do it. So good.
Well, it's time. I'm subscribing.
Excellent.